The text came 3 days before their anniversary party. I was in my office reviewing quarterly reports when my phone lit up with Mom's name. Jessica, your father and I have been talking. We think it's best if you don't attend our anniversary celebration. Your presence would be uncomfortable for our guests. You understand, don't you? We've worked hard to build our reputation and we need this evening to be perfect. Don't embarrass us by coming. I stared at the message for a long moment. Not surprised. Not even hurt anymore. Just tired. I typed back, understood. Enjoy your night. She responded immediately, thank you for being mature about this. We knew you'd understand eventually. I set my phone down and looked around my office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Mahogany desk. Awards lining the shelves. Restaurateur of the Year. Best catering service. Top women-owned business. My company, Silverline Catering and Events, had grown from a small catering operation I started in my apartment kitchen to a multi-million-dollar enterprise with 47 employees. And my parents had no idea. To them, I was still the daughter who wasted her college degree by going into food service. The one who embarrassed them at family gatherings because I didn't have a corporate job with a fancy title. The one they stopped inviting to important events 5 years ago when I showed up to my brother's engagement party in my work clothes, black chef's pants and a simple blouse, because I'd come directly from catering another event. My brother Daniel had pulled me aside that night. Jessica, seriously? You couldn't dress up? You're making Mom and Dad look bad. People think they raised a waitress. I'm a chef, I'd said quietly. Same thing, he'd replied. Just try harder, okay? Or maybe just stop coming to these things. So I had. Stopped coming. Stopped calling. Stopped trying to make them see me. But I never stopped building my business. My assistant Maria knocked on my office door. Jessica? The Morrison anniversary event. They just confirmed the final menu changes. Also, your 7 p.m. is here. Thanks, Maria. Give me 5 minutes. She hesitated. Are you okay? You look upset. I'm fine, I said, forcing a smile. Just family stuff. The anniversary party on Saturday? Maria knew everything. She'd been with me since the beginning, since the days when we worked 18-hour shifts to make rent. Are you going? No. They uninvited me. Maria's face hardened. Jessica. It's fine. Really. I pulled up my calendar. Wait. Morrison anniversary. That's on Saturday, right? Yes. The big one at the Grandview Hotel. 200 guests. $45,000 contract. They've been planning it for 8 months. Maria paused. Why? I pulled up the client file. Morrison. Eleanor and Richard Morrison. 35th wedding anniversary. Celebration at the Grandview Hotel, 7 p.m. Full catering package including appetizers, 5-course dinner, dessert bar, service staff, floral arrangements. Morrison. My mother's maiden name was Morrison. Eleanor Morrison. Maria, I said slowly. Pull up the contact information for the Morrison event. She tapped on her tablet. Eleanor Morrison, phone number ending in 4738, email eleanor.morrison. That's my mother, I said. Maria's eyes went wide. What? My parents hired my company to cater their anniversary party. They have no idea it's mine. We sat in stunned silence for a moment. How is that possible? Maria asked. Don't they know what you do? They know I work in food service. They've never asked for details. Never visited my office. Never looked at my website. To them, I'm just their disappointing daughter who chose the wrong career path. Maria pulled up the full contract on her computer. They signed the agreement 6 months ago. Paid the deposit. This is a huge event, Jessica. It's one of our biggest this quarter. I looked at the contract. My mother's signature at the bottom. My company's logo at the top. Silverline Catering and Events. The name I'd chosen because my mother always said I'd never have a silver lining to my life. What are you going to do? Maria asked carefully. I thought about that text message. Don't embarrass us by coming. Thought about 5 years of being excluded. 5 years of being treated like I was worthless because I chose passion over prestige. I'm going to fulfill the contract, I said. Professionally. Completely. And then, at exactly the right moment, I'm going to send one text message. Jessica. They hired the best catering company in the city without even knowing their daughter owns it. That says everything, doesn't it? Maria looked worried. What's the text going to say? You'll see. The next 3 days were busy. We had 4 other events that week, including a corporate gala and a wedding. But the Morrison anniversary party was my focus. I personally reviewed every detail. The menu: filet mignon, Chilean sea bass, truffle risotto, chocolate soufflé. The floral arrangements: white roses and orchids, my mother's favorites. The wine selection: a 2015 Bordeaux that cost $400 per bottle. Everything perfect. Everything exactly as they'd requested. I assigned my best team to the event. Maria would oversee everything on site. I would stay back at the office, monitoring remotely through our staff communications system. I couldn't risk my parents seeing me and causing a scene. Saturday arrived. At 3 p.m., my team loaded the trucks and headed to the Grandview Hotel. Maria texted me updates every 30 minutes. 4:15 p.m., setup complete. Everything looks incredible. Your mom just walked through for final inspection. She's pleased. 4:47 p.m., she asked if the owner was here. I told her you were managing another event. She said, good service is hard to find these days. 5:30 p.m., guests starting to arrive. Your brother is here with his wife. They look expensive. 6:45 p.m., your dad just tipped the sommelier $200. He told everyone this is the best catering service they've ever hired. I sat in my office watching the clock. My phone had been quiet since Thursday. No follow-up from mom. No message from dad. No acknowledgement that they'd uninvited their daughter from their anniversary celebration. At 7:30 p.m., Maria sent a photo. The ballroom looked stunning. My parents stood at the center, surrounded by 200 guests in formal attire. Mom wore a silver gown. Dad had a new tuxedo. Daniel and his wife stood beside them, all smiles. The family portrait. Perfect. Without the embarrassing daughter. At 8 p.m. the main course was being served. Maria texted, everything is flawless. They're raving about the food. Your mom literally said, this is the best meal I've ever had at an event. She wants to recommend us to everyone she knows. That's when I sent the text. Not to my parents. To Maria. Execute Protocol 7. Protocol 7 was something we developed for difficult clients who tried to skip payment or mistreat staff. It was our nuclear option. We'd never actually used it. Maria knew exactly what it meant. 3 minutes later my phone started ringing. I declined. Rang again. Declined. Daniel. Declined. Unknown number, probably the hotel manager. Declined. Then the texts started flooding in. Mom, call me immediately. Mom, what is happening? Mom, the catering staff just walked out. Dad, Jessica, if this is you, call me right now. Daniel, Mom is having a meltdown. The entire catering team just left. What did you do? I turned off my phone and watched the clock. 15 minutes. That's all it took. Then I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls. 63 text messages. 7 voicemails. I listened to the first voicemail. Mom's voice, panicked and shrill. Jessica Marie Thompson, I don't know what you've done, but you need to fix this immediately. The catering company just abandoned us. All the staff. They took the food, the desserts, everything. We have 200 guests here and no dinner. The hotel is scrambling, but they can't accommodate this many people. Your father is furious. Call me now. The second voicemail was Dad. Jessica, I know you're behind this somehow. This is unacceptable. You're sabotaging your mother's anniversary because you're bitter about not being invited. Grow up and fix this. The third was Daniel. I told Mom you weren't mature enough to handle being excluded. This is petty and cruel. People are leaving. Mom is crying. I hope you're happy. I listened to all 7 voicemails. Then I read through the text messages. Mom, please tell me this isn't you. Mom, the catering company won't answer their phones. Mom, Jessica, if you had anything to do with this, you're not my daughter anymore. Dad, we have guests waiting. This is humiliating. Daniel, everyone is talking about what a disaster this is. Our family is a joke right now. Unknown number, hotel manager, Ms. Thompson, I'm trying to reach you regarding the Morrison event. Please call immediately. I waited 1 hour. Let them sit in the chaos. Let them feel what it's like to be humiliated in front of people they wanted to impress. Then I got in my car and drove to the Grandview Hotel. The ballroom was half empty. Guests had left. The remaining ones stood in clusters, whispering. The tables were set beautifully, but the plates were empty. My floral arrangements still decorated the space, but there was no food. No service staff. Nothing. Mom sat at the head table, mascara streaked down her face. Dad paced nearby on his phone, yelling at someone. Daniel stood with his arms crossed, glaring at the hotel manager. I walked in wearing jeans and a leather jacket. Not formal attire. Not appropriate for an anniversary party. Mom saw me first. You. She stood up so fast her chair fell backward. What did you do? Every remaining guest turned to look. I fulfilled a contract, I said calmly. And then I exercised my right as the business owner to terminate service to a client who violated the terms of our agreement. What are you talking about? Dad stepped forward. What contract? What business? I pulled out my phone and opened the contract file. Held it up so they could see. Silverline Catering and Events. The company you hired for $45,000 to cater your anniversary party. My company. The one I built from nothing 7 years ago. Mom's face went from red to white. That's not possible. I'm the owner, I said. I personally designed your menu. Selected your wines. Arranged your flowers. Everything you raved about tonight? I created it. Daniel shook his head. You're lying. You work in a restaurant somewhere. You're a chef? Caterer? Food service worker. I smiled. Yes. I'm all of those things. I'm also a CEO. Silverline Catering and Events generated $4.3 million in revenue last year. We're the most sought-after catering company in the city. And you hired us without even knowing your daughter owns it. Dad's mouth opened but no sound came out. For 5 years, you've excluded me from family events because I embarrass you. Because I don't have a respectable corporate job. Because I chose to build something instead of climbing someone else's ladder. I looked at Mom. 3 days ago you texted me. You said my presence would embarrass you. You told me not to come to your anniversary party. Jessica, Mom whispered. I didn't know. You didn't know because you never asked. Never cared. Never once asked about my life, my work, my success. You just assumed I was a failure because my career didn't look like what you wanted. The hotel manager approached cautiously. Miss Thompson, we need to resolve this situation. These guests will be fully refunded, I said. My company will return the $45,000 paid by the Morrisons. The contract is void due to client misconduct. Client misconduct? Dad's voice rose. What are you talking about? I pulled up the contract on my phone and read aloud. Section 8, Clause C. The client agrees to treat all Silverline staff with respect and dignity. Any verbal abuse, discrimination, or harassment will result in immediate contract termination without refund. We didn't harass anyone. Mom protested. You harassed your daughter, I said quietly. Who happens to be the owner? You told me I was an embarrassment. You uninvited me from a family event because you were ashamed of what I do for a living. That's harassment. That's discrimination. That violates the core values my company was built on. The ballroom was dead silent. You hired the best, I continued. You got the best. Right up until the moment you reminded me that I'm not good enough to be part of this family. So I removed my services. All of them. The food you praised? Gone. The staff you complimented? Gone. The dessert bar you were excited about? Gone. Daniel stepped forward angrily. You ruined their anniversary. In front of 200 people. No, I said. They ruined it themselves when they decided their daughter wasn't worthy of being here. I just stopped pretending it didn't hurt. Mom was crying now, genuine sobs. Jessica, please. We didn't understand. We didn't know about your company. About your success. You didn't want to know, I said. That's the difference. For 7 years I've built something extraordinary. I've employed dozens of people. I've created beauty and joy at hundreds of events. But none of that mattered to you because it wasn't what you considered prestigious. We made a mistake, Dad said, his voice cracking. We were wrong about you. Yes, you were. I looked around the ballroom. At the empty plates. The confused guest. The ruined celebration. This is what happens when you treat people like they're worthless. Eventually they stop letting you use them. I turned to the hotel manager. The Morrison family's deposit will be refunded by Monday. Send the invoice to my office. Then I looked at my parents one last time. Congratulations on 35 years of marriage. I hope the next 35 are filled with people who actually value you. I walked out of the Grandview Hotel and didn't look back. My phone rang continuously for the next 3 days. Dad, Daniel, aunts, uncles, family friends who'd been at the party. Everyone had an opinion. Some messages were angry. You humiliated your parents in public. You're a terrible daughter. Some were defensive. They didn't mean to hurt you. You overreacted. But some were surprising. An aunt I hadn't spoken to in years. I always knew you were going to do something amazing. I'm proud of you. A cousin. About time someone stood up to them. They've been insufferable for years. One message from my grandmother. Your grandfather would have loved your restaurant. He always said you had fire in you. And one text from Mom sent at 2 a.m. a week after the party. I've been thinking about what you said. You're right. I never asked about your life because I was afraid the answer would prove I was wrong about you. I'm sorry, Jessica. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me, but I'm sorry. I didn't respond immediately. I sat with it. Thought about whether forgiveness was even possible. 2 weeks later I sent a reply. I built something beautiful, Mom. Something I'm proud of. If you ever want to see it, really see it, let me know. But I'm not going to keep fighting for your approval. I don't need it anymore. She showed up at my office 3 days later. No makeup. Simple clothes. Humble. Maria showed her in. Mom stood in my office looking at the awards on the walls. The photos of events I'd catered. The framed article from the Business Journal naming me one of the city's top entrepreneurs under 40. You did all this? She asked quietly. Yes. It's beautiful, Jessica. I know. She sat down across from my desk, tears in her eyes. I was wrong. About everything. Your father and we had this vision of what success looked like and we couldn't see past it. We couldn't see you. No, you couldn't, I said. And that hurt more than you'll ever understand. I want to try, she said. To understand. To know you. Really know you. If you'll let me. I looked at my mother. This woman who'd dismissed me, excluded me, told me I was an embarrassment. And I saw something I hadn't seen before. Regret. Real regret. It's going to take time, I said. A lot of time. I have time, she said. However long you need. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. Because sometimes, the only way people see you is when you stop being invisible on their terms and start being visible on your own. And sometimes the greatest success isn't proving them wrong. It's building something so undeniable that they can't help but see it. Even if it takes ruining an anniversary party to make them look.